Hello, Felicia. How are you?
I'm good, Fran. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. I'm so glad that you were able to join me today and accept protocol to share some of your experiences as a residential school survivor.
Thank you. I really appreciate the tobacco and the pin here. It's really beautiful. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
well, as you know, this interview is for the Charles Spencer High School and the students grade 9 to 12 that will be watching and learning from you about your experiences. And so, would you be able to share which nation you're from?
Yes. So my name is Felicia Nazon. I'm 45. I'm from the Gwich'in Nation, which is we're from Northwest Territories, Inuvik, Northwest Territories to be specific. Yeah, and I went to residential school when I was in grade 1 and 2.
Wow, so you're a fairly young woman.
Yes.
You are actually the same age as most of our students' moms and dads, I would assume.
I think I'm around that age. Yep, that
Yeah.
age.
So, one of the reasons that I wanted to interview you and share your story was exactly because of that. You know, oftentimes people think about residential school survivors and the experience as ancient history, but you're living, breathing proof that it's not ancient, it's very current,
Yes.
and I'm so glad that you're able to share. So, with that, I'm going to be quiet and just ask if you could share what you would like to about your story.
Okay. So, in my family, I'm the last generation from the residential school. My children are the first generation that will not experience residential school. So, it is fairly new, like still current. It's not ancient history. The things that I will be speaking about today happened, 40 years ago, which is not very long ago. It's not a long time ago. It's very current. It's still fresh. It's it's something that you can't get over. It's something that you you don't forget. It's always there. When you see people, you remember. You go through this whole experience all over in your head. And it could be like you see one person and you zoom. You feel everything that you felt in grade 1 or in grade 2.
What were some of those things that you felt?
Like one of my experiences, I witnessed a traumatic experience for this young girl. We were the same age. She was a Inuvialuit, I'm Gwich'in. Our parents were friends. We were in the same grade, and she was just in the room next to me. And I remember it was bedtime, and it was dark, and everybody was going to sleep, and it was always scary because when you're from a family that's close, bedtime is comforting, and your mom's there, your dad's there, your family's there. But when you're in residential school, you're in this big room, you're alone, you're in a bed by yourself, and it's unknown. It's kind of like as soon as the lights go out, you don't know what's going to happen. So anyways, I always tried to get to bed quickly, covered myself, hid under kind of the blankets, and all of a sudden I can hear like this ruffling, blankets ruffling, kind of like a person making like muffling sounds with their voices, squirming, like there was a little
Like a
tug
struggle?
a struggle of some sort. And of course I was, so much more scared. I put the pillow over me, and then all of a sudden I can hear shuffle on the floor. And in Grolier Hall in Inuvik, they used to have these walls that split the bedroom, and then there was 2 to 3 feet space from the floor to the wall. So essentially you can slide from room to room to room if you crawled on the floor. So anyways, I could hear this ruffling and 2 people, and all of a sudden I heard like a shuffle on the floor, and then about a minute later I could hear screaming, help me, help me. And then a door closed like a big gym door. You know how loud the clicks?
Yeah.
And I never heard anything after that. And I just know it was somebody in the next room. It was somebody was taken. Well, the next day, because all of the kids in the, in residential school, they stuck together, they talked, they tried to protect each other. Well, what happened was a young lady was wrapped up in a blanket and taken out of her bed that night. And they dragged her from room to room down to the end of the hallway. And finally, when she kind of broke her face free, she was screaming. But by that time, they already took her out of the dorm area. To this day, I don't know what happened to her.
Maybe we'll put this on pause. Well, we needed to take a break because the emotion that is attached to these experiences can be overwhelming and surprising at times. Felicia is a woman who's tough as nails. If you meet her in everyday life, and she's also a human being, though, of course. And I think we were both surprised because we've prepared ourselves for this interview as much as we could.
Yes.
But that's being human. So I'm very proud that you're willing to continue sharing and that you wanted to finish the interview.
Thank you. I think I just want to start off by saying I think I get so emotional because I put my I think, oh my goodness, what if this happened to my son or to my daughter?
Mm-hmm.
And the lack of control that our parents had back in the day.
Right.
I'm pretty sure her parents never sent or never thought that these things would happen to her while she was in the care of the government.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that experience is obviously still fresh. I see this lady when I go home. Like I said earlier, we're same grade, same age, and our lives are very different.
Mm-hmm.
She is a homeless person. She has a lot of struggles. And every time I see her, I can't judge her. I feel for her because I just think, that moment in her life when that happened is probably why she's here. So when you see someone on the streets or when you see someone struggling, you're not there to be the judge.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be there and you need to sympathize. I'm not saying you have to go and help or anything, but you need to understand people are in these situations, whether it be living on the streets or fighting addictions. If they are residential school survivors, you don't know what happened to them. It was just a matter of fact of it was her or me.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
By the grace of Creator, I wasn't the one chosen that night.
Right.
She was. Where I am in life and where she is in life was probably based on that moment.
Defining moments.
So if there's anything you need to learn from reconciliation is just have some compassion.
Mm-hmm.
And don't judge.
Thank you.
Because you don't know what people are going through or what they've been through. And you have to understand when you're violated in ways that you've never even imagined, you don't just get to erase that.
Mm-hmm.
That's in somebody's head for their whole life. And it's a battle.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well, I think what you said about defining moments is a perfect way to close our interview.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm hoping that what you've shared with great honesty and emotion, I know it's affected me. And I truly believe that we can share openly as Indigenous women and create defining moments like this for others whom are listening,
Yep.
that they can create change in how their relationships go with each other and Indigenous people.
Yeah,
So
that's
thank
right.
you.
I appreciate your support and everything too.
Well, we will see you soon.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Felicia. Exe.